Hi, I'm Dina, and for my essay I chose to explore the topic of the inclination of ignorant educators and how their desire to educate others shows how they themselves are uninformed about their own matters. I chose to focus on Julian from Everything That Rises Must Converge and Mr. Shiflett from A Life You Save May Be Your Own. Just to give a little background, Julian from Everything That Rises Must Converge attempts to distinguish himself from his own mother because of her own conservative and very racist views upon modern society. Julian tries to separate himself from his mother because of his own liberal views that he has acquired from college, and he tries to demonstrate this by publicly humiliating his mother. And by confronting her like this, Julian also tries to publicly educate her. Mr. Shiflett from A Life You Save May Be Your Own shows up to Lucille and her daughter and offers to do house chores in exchange for their car. During this period, Mr. Shiflett poses himself as a man of intellect by trying to initiate philosophical conversations with senior Lucille. After he marries young Lucille, he abandons her at a road stop and continues to travel where he sees a road sign that says, "A life you save may be your own." From this, Mr. Shiflett creates a new role for himself in which he becomes a guide to those who are abandoned or lost. From these stories, I've noticed that both characters exploit their educational experiences in order to put themselves into a role in which they are able to demonstrate their lessons to other people. For my thesis, I said, both Julian and Mr. Shiflett demonstrate how exercising their own arrogance and self-proclaimed intellectual views to educate others show that their desire manifested from their own petty and ignorant intentions to put themselves above others. For my thesis, I'm essentially trying to say that they both have the intention to educate others based off of their desires to seem superior and above all others because of their acquired knowledge. For Julian, he uses his college experience and resulting intelligence to validate his own views against his mother. Julian and his mother both live in a modern society in which racial equality is very prevalent and very much alive, but his mother very much disagrees with this, and she tries to voice out her very racist and conservative opinion about this. She also refers back to her ancestors in the past and how much it defines her, and she believes that it defines her and that she has this authority and superiority over blacks. On page 47, Julian says, "They don't give a damn for your graciousness. Knowing who you are is good for one generation only." In this, Julian tries to assert his own authority over his mother by jabbing at her about her views and by asserting his own views. From this, we see how Julian basically bullies his mother for placing herself in the past for still possessing her racist values. His methods of educating his mother proves to be somewhat cruel, as he constantly humiliates her and treats her like a child. Throughout the book, Julian tries to prove his own modern moral values by trying to interact with blacks, in which he ends up looking pitiful. His education methods towards his mother seems to be invalid because of his failure to connect with blacks. But he still seems to be exploiting his liberal views and education from college towards his mother as he continues on to basically humiliate her and constantly jabs at her throughout the book. For Mr. Shiflett, in the beginning when he was with Lucille, whenever the elder would ask him something, he would offer double-sided questions and his own ideologies. His method of education enables him to gain the favor of the Lucilles while he learns a few things of his own. At the end, when he abandons Lucille at a diner, a waiter calls Lucille an angel of God on page 154. And we later on see him using the same language as he lectures a lone boy on page 156. This goes back to what I said about my thesis, in which Mr. Shiflett essentially steals what someone else had said and puts it into his own educational lesson. So, to conclude, both Julian and Mr. Shiflett have used and exploited their experiences, which they themselves are still ignorant to, in order to educate others so that they may seem superior and more intelligent. For Julian, he uses the liberal views that he has acquired from college against his mother because he believes that hers are outdated and racist, although he doesn't have the validation and understanding to tell his mother what her views should be. And for Mr. Shiflett, his educational method stems off of his hypocrisy towards Lucille, which was detected by the boy, and leads him to realize how false his lessons are. And so that concludes my veto defense. So thank you for listening, and